Before we dive in, a quick shout out to the community that makes this possible. This show is brought to you by the You Run Podcast Network, a space where everyone is heard, loved and welcomed. To support the creators and find your next favourite show, please visit yourunpodcast.com.
You want to die tonight?
Late at night, I tune into your show, where you talk horror with a unique flow. Your voice is like sirens, draws me in, as you pick apart movies on murder and sin. Scott and Marc set the scene. I hang on every word lost in the screen. Your passion for fear is contagious enough. You make me believe in Marc's fucking long roundups. You run podcast, horror movie review, sharing facts and playing games too. Your words paint pictures of darkness and dread, leaving me grinning long after you fled. You run podcast. You run podcast.
I always come back.
Hello and welcome to the You Run Podcast Horror Movie Review. My name is Scott.
My name is Marc.
And we are the interactive horror movie review podcast run and controlled by all of you. We have interactive features, we have games, we have a deep dive review, and we have fun opinions, silly behavior, and sometimes a little bit of bickering. If you've never listened to the show before, we're going to give you a brief overview of what the movie is, our synopsis and score for the film. Then we're going to dive into everything we liked, everything we didn't like, and this is very, very, very spoiler heavy. Today, we're covering a newer release. We cover new releases not when they first come out because no one's seen them. And then we're podcasting to the select few who went and saw them opening week. So we normally wait 4 to 6 weeks to dive into something, then you've all seen it. And this is now on streaming as well. It was also in my most anticipated movies of 2025 and how fucking wrong I was. It is Five Nights at Freddy's 2. I really don't know how I feel about this movie. Like I
know exactly how I feel about this movie.
I kind of do as well. I mean, Five Nights at Freddy's 2 is a continuation of Five Nights at Freddy's. It's got Matthew Lillard, Josh Hutcherson, Elizabeth Lail, and Piper Rubio all reprising their roles. This installment was meant to give us an expansion on the lore, introduce us some new characters and a secondary Fazbear location, and a host of other paranormal events as well. It's a really basic A to B movie, and it was really predictable. The new toy animatronics somehow look and feel worse than what we had in the original, and the possessed human element fell flat for me. There are some highlights like the brief appearance from Skeet Ulrich and the surprise when I found out that Megan Fox is in this movie. As a fan of the game, there's an abundance of nods and things that I really liked that reference the second game and other things within the gaming franchise. But I think 90% of general audiences will have completely missed these. The film is fun. It serves a purpose in this film universe, but I think that purpose is purely to tee up a faster paced, better third installment. The characters make nothing but poor decisions from start to finish. It's got a plot that makes zero sense, with the writers focused on what worked in the games as opposed to what should work in the movie. I didn't hate it. It gives me hope for a third installment that's going to be a lot better and a lot more violent. But if I'm honest, this is not very good. I give it a 2 out of 5.
Yeah, that's higher than I expected, to be honest with you. So my whole history with the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise is minimal. I've never played any of the games, and all the experience I have with this sort of field of what it is based on the first movie and a few little nods in pop culture that I've seen pop up and stuff with a couple of the mobile games and things like that. So I have no real attachment to these movies. The first movie, I didn't dislike wholly. I had issues with it, and I didn't think it was great, but I also was curious about the potential that these movies could have going forward, which was something that made me excited about the sequel, because I thought, right, well, that isn't really what I wanted, but now everything's established. They've kind of built what they need to. I'm curious to see what they deliver with a next installment. And the way that they ended the first movie kind of teed it up perfectly for them to do that with this second one. However, without going too much into spoiler territory, this movie is a fucking waste of time. All the characters that have come here and actors that were announced for this movie are wasted with blip cameos, including Skeet, including Matthew Lillard, and most of all, Grace McKenna, who I think is fantastic, is absolutely wasted in this movie. Not only that, but this just feels like an absolute side quest. The whole movie felt like a side quest because by the time the credits roll, we're exactly where we were at the end of part one. And we're sat waiting for that movie that I spent sat waiting at the end of the first film. You know, we wanted Lillard back as the toy, and it took a 90. Well, it's not even 90. This movie's nearly an hour and 50, I believe.
Yeah,
of wasted time just to get us back to where we were at the end of the first film. It pissed me off to no end. There's a couple of highlights throughout. I like the way that they do lean into a little bit more of the gaming side of things with Hutchinson's character behind the desk. Yeah, I don't know the games, but I do know that that is a direct reference to the games and how they do play out with you there at the computer and them slowly creeping in on you. I thought that was really cool. I like the touches there. But overall, I was just infuriated by the time we got to the end because there wasn't anything here that made better on the first film that I had issues with, like the turned down violence, the off-screen deaths, and yeah, I was just thoroughly disappointed, you know, and I want to see the third one. But again, I'm just doing what I did at the end of the first movie, which was building up potential in my mind of where this is going to go. And I'm pretty sure when the third one does come out, if the third one does come out, I don't know how well received this movie was. I didn't hear a lot of people talking about it at the time.
This movie had a $50 million budget. And it made $231 million, making it Blumhouse's most successful horror movie ever.
Right, so we are getting a third one then. Well, hopefully, fingers crossed. You know, I hope they pull focus. You know, I hope they pull focus and go back to what they did with the first movie and continue that on. I'll save whatever else I've got to say for my final roundup because I don't want to ramble too much here. But I'm just going to give this a 1 out of 5. I didn't like it. It just felt wasted. It felt like do you know when you have? So, like, for instance, you have the Sonic movies.
Yeah.
Then you get the Knuckles TV series, which it's all right, but it's not really quality enough for it to lead its own charge in the cinema. This is what Five Nights at Freddy's 2 felt like. It felt like a side mission from the actual story, and it annoyed me slightly. So it's a 1 out of 5.
Yeah, and I don't think that's unfair. Do you know what the thing that annoyed me the most in this movie is? And it really wound me up. So you thought the actress who plays Vanessa is, in the first movie, you said she's terrible, she's wooden, she doesn't add anything. You absolutely slammed that. And I stood up and I defended her. I was like, no, she's a really good actress. I think a lot of that's writing. And then I watched this, and the only thing that was going through my head is she's terrible. She's wooden. She's so crap. Why did I?
But the thing is, she was like the worst thing about the first movie. And not only that, they promote her to fucking main character level in this. Like, she is leading the charge throughout the whole thing, and Hutchinson takes a back seat, and you're like, what planet are you on to make this decision?
But not only that, you've got McKenna Grace right there playing a ghost hunter.
Who is brilliant when she's on screen as well.
Yeah, she's just done Ghostbusters. Like, surely that is an instant. Well, instead of doing what we're going to do with these characters, like, we'll just fuck off Josh Hutcherson, Piper Rubio, forget about them. We're going to do a new story at Five Nights at Freddy's 2. McKenna Grace and her paranormal team are going to go in and investigate this location. There's your movie in the pizzeria. And I would have bought that so much more than this. Like, I think the roaming around in this movie annoys me as well. Like, I want to see Fazbear's Pizzeria. I want to see everything play out there. I don't want a side quest to the school. I don't want to go and do, like, what we'll talk about it when we get to it. Let's do a quick break, and then we'll dive into the rest of this abomination that is this movie.
Mama Mary on the left side, Spookster Neo on the mic tonight. Family Frights podcast, laugh till you scream, then laugh. Mama and her spooky son, put the fun in the family scare. Family Frights podcast. lies, ghost stories, giggles, gaps. Mama Mary, Spookster, Neo. This is where the cozy chills grow.
Turn the lights down, turn the volume up. If the call's from inside, we still pick it up. From cursed VHS to the thing you just streamed, we're your loud best friends inside your screen. This is horror friendly, pour it strong, talk deadly. Drinks and jokes get messy, cuss you out so gently. Horror friendly, yeah, we dive in heavy. New and old, get ready. Press play, don't tempt me.
So go and check out all the members of the You Run Podcast Network. You can find them at yourunpodcast.com. On there, you'll also find links to all of our socials, and you'll find links to the most important thing, our Patreon, where you can get early drop episodes, apart from this week, because me and Mark were disorganized, but that's a conversation that will happen on Patreon. You get early drops to this show. You get early drops to True Crime. You get early drops to Voices with the You Run podcast, 3 YouTube episodes a week, plus 3 Patreon exclusives a week. You get 7 episodes every single week, and it costs you less than a cup of coffee. So go and do that. I want to talk this movie a lot. So there's things I really like. I really like the new pizzeria, looks so much better than the old one. And I love this flashback section we get at the beginning, back to 1982.
Yeah.
But the parents in this, I know 80s parents were not really that attentive to their children. And like, if there was like a kid come along, like tugs your arm, like 80s parents would be like, fuck off, go away. But this kid is literally screaming, they've kidnapped a child, help me. And they're like, the grown-ups are talking dull. And I'm like, fuck you. No parent ever does that, ever. Not ever.
No. It was a bit misguided, wasn't it? I get what they were trying to do with it, because it obviously leads to the main plot point of the movie. But it was a bit unbelievable, in my opinion. I knew from the off, when they were trying to set this up, it was going to go somewhere. I didn't quite pinpoint where it was going to go, but the interactions of it was just like, this is very forced and very unrealistic. I'm not buying this at all. There's no way. And especially like the men of the situation. This was a young girl screaming and crying to them.
The
and
80s, when men were like, I'm a man's man. That was 80s.
Yeah. And also the lack of mullets and mustaches and smoking in this scene annoyed me as well.
that Freddy's Fazbear's would have been a fog
of smoke. Yeah, definitely. I do, like you say, that I do really like the new Fazbear's Pizzeria place. It's really cool. I like the lake and stuff that they've got running through it. I like that that out of everything, that is one thing that they do make better. And I was confused as well at first, because I didn't get what this was supposed to be. I was like, it didn't look like this in the first movie, so why is it now all fancy like an upgraded McDonald's?
Yeah, and the way they explain it, like, it works for me, but it is very much we want a new pizzeria, we need to explain it. And there's a throwaway line from McKenna Grace, like, oh no, you're thinking of the franchise location. This was the original. I'm like, bullshit.
So which one is the original? Is this one from this movie the original?
This is the original, and the one in the first movie is the franchise.
Right. So like, the Matthew Lillard, is this his as well? Does he?
Yeah,
because he's obviously in this one, but they make it out like the one we were in the first movie is like the OG Godfather Fazbear's.
Yeah, no. So this one is his pizzeria, his creation, and then he franchised them, I'm guessing, to give himself additional locations to kidnap and kill children.
Right. Okay.
Because that
didn't really sit with me too well.
No, it didn't. It wasn't translated well. It was they needed a secondary location, so they just made a reason for that to happen.
But again, a lot of that feels forced throughout this movie. It's like, oh well, we need to do this. So this character, I know we didn't mention him in the first one, but they're here now, which we'll get to.
Yeah, I'm assuming you're talking of the marionette.
No, not the marionette necessarily, because I imagine with stuff like that, like Monster Munch Crisps, they have this kind of whole thing with different characters, and a lot of companies do it. Cereals like the Cocoa Pops, they have loads of different characters. So I'm not too confused about the inclusion of the marionette. It was more the fact that what's the character called who I dislike, who's terrible?
It's got Elizabeth Lale.
Yeah, what's her name in this?
Vanessa.
Vanessa, that's it. So I do have notes for this episode, but in case you can't tell, the setup's very different here. We're having minor technical difficulties on my end, which will be ironed out next week, I promise. So I don't have access to my notes. So Vanessa, yeah, her brother. I'm like, well, I didn't know you had a brother. Surely you would have mentioned you had a brother that grew up with this shared trauma in the first movie. So his inclusion here is like, come on, guys. To be very clearly added this in afterwards.
In the games, he is a later addition to the lore, but
okay.
This is the thing, that this is not accurate to the game lore. So Scott Cawthon, who created the game, he's involved as a producer working on these movies, and he's helping them rewrite the lore for the movie world. But the problem is they're cherry picking where they take stuff from. So in this movie, you've got stuff from here, you've got stuff from like FNAF 4, you've got stuff, they're like cherry picking the bits they want to rebuild the lore. So people who want, knowing the game lore, watch it and go, oh, that's not right, that doesn't belong there. I like that they've done that, but that didn't happen till this movie or this game. And while it works,
I mean, I get that though. I do get that with movie franchises. Sometimes you have to do that. I don't think it always works out very well. Welcome to Raccoon City, which we had last year or maybe the year before, that was a prime example of combining multiple game laws into one direct story doesn't work. I'm excited. We've got a new Resident Evil movie this year. That's Zach Cregger. That's my top pick for best movie of the year, especially being a Resident Evil franchise, Resident Evil fan. I've got mass trepidations for it. I'm a bit worried, basically just because of the stuff he's said about the film itself so far. But again, it's Cregger, and I'm confident he's going to do well, and I'm really cheering that movie this year. But again, I'm sidetracking.
He can't do any worse than the TV series, let's be honest.
The TV series was absolutely shocking. And again, what Paul Anderson did, he did all right for the first two movies, but after that, that fell off a cliff as well.
Just give up.
Yeah.
Animatronics still look great. Like even the toy animatronics, like they are characters in the game and they are different to the original characters. So I get that, but I didn't like the way they moved. Like they just felt shit. They felt plastic,
shiny. They were shiny, and that's what I didn't like about them. Is that what they were trying to go for, like a plastic version? Because I didn't rewatch the first one to watch this one, but I do remember the whole time thinking, God, these look dreadful. Surely they didn't look this bad in the first movie, because I would have remembered ripping them to pieces. And then the older ones came back at the end. I was like, there you go. They look fucking awesome, and they look even better now they're zombified. Why not just use them from the start?
Yeah, and did you notice that Chica's gone on a diet as well? So like the bird is normally like massive, round and plump, and this new Chica's like got
I did
toned and a little pair of pink pants. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, they just looked off to me. I didn't like the design of these. I thought they looked strange, and I spent a big chunk of the movie being really confused by them.
I didn't like they talked either, and it annoyed me because I recognized Chica's voice and then had to go Google. Chica's voiced by Megan Fox.
That's wild.
Yeah.
But again, this is one of those things. Didn't she do that new Blumhouse robot movie? She must be tied into like a contract with them.
Subservience. And that, I'll be honest, is a better AI movie than this is.
Yeah, not cool. I didn't like it. I didn't like the look of them at all. And even more so, it was amplified at the end when the original ones came in. I would have probably been less harsh on this movie had they stuck with the design of the first movies, and there was no reason why they had to change it. It was a simple throwaway comment that they were prototypes or something like that. One of the guards said to McKenna Grace, it's like, oh, they look brand new. It's like, oh, these are prototypes. I'm like, what?
Do you know, I was fine with that. I had real issue where he's like, yeah, like they could work wirelessly. Like we had fucking nothing was wireless in the 80s. It's like, yeah, they could work wirelessly, and like there's a special perimeter that keeps them in here, and it's the technology was way ahead of its time. I'm like, yes, about 35 fucking years ahead of its time. This is bullshit.
But didn't they have that in the first movie?
No, they had.
Are you sure? Because it was a vital part of the end of the. Because at the end of this movie, the older robots all die in the house because they've escaped their perimeter.
Yeah,
and they're like.
But that
no, that's because of the ghost, is it not? Because of the actual mechanics involved in the machinery, right? Yeah. Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah, but that really grated on me. And also when the old original animatronics turn up and rip these new ones to bits, I was like, fucking yes.
It was cool. It was the best part of the movie, in my opinion.
Yeah, like you've got that one going mad, and you get like the old style Foxy. You hear dum 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 dum, and he turns around as a fucking hook comes through and just rips him apart. I'm like, yes, get rid of this plastic shit on my screen.
Yeah, definitely. So let's just talk about the new characters introduced before we move on any further, because it's something that's massively infuriated me. Because the hype up around this movie was that Skeet Ulrich and Matthew Lillard were going to be sharing the screen together for the first time since Scream. They don't, by the way. There's not a single scene in this movie where they're in it together. Skeet's on screen for 45 seconds maximum, I think.
Yeah, I think he's got 2 scenes. He's probably got a couple of minutes across the whole movie, but it's minimal.
Same for Matthew Lillard, though, considering he's a mainstay. All we get from him is a dream sequence, which is again annoying.
Yeah.
And
again,
McKenna Grace, wasted.
Yeah, but again, even with the dream sequence, like, dreams were a big part of the first one, and they kind of used them a little bit here, but not very much. And the story they tell in the dreams in this one is fucking irrelevant. It's just there as a vehicle to put Matthew Lillard on screen. It done nothing else for the storyline.
No. And again, I just don't understand it, because like I just don't get it, because they've done a lot of hyping around this movie as him and Skeet being like, they're joining the FNAF franchise. You would think they would utilize them more by giving them, like, there is no reason why Skeet's character couldn't have played a very vital role in this movie throughout in order to stop the marionette, with it being his daughter.
Yeah, and like bringing Skeet in. So Skeet plays a character called Henry Emily, who in the games has never actually appeared on screen. He's basically like a co-founder with Matthew Lillard's character. So in the games, there's lots of like information about him and what he's done, but he never actually appears, which I know Skeet Ulrich, I saw an interview with him where he's like, it was great getting to play him because I've played the games. So in my head, I've got an image of what this guy's like and how he speaks and like what he is as a person. He said, and I just got free reign to do whatever I wanted. And I liked him. I thought Skeet was great. Matthew Lillard.
So does that mean that he's going to be back then? If he is a co-conspirator 100%. With Lillard?
Yeah. So he's not guilty. He didn't do any of the bad stuff. He just made the robots. They're his thing.
But that makes more sense why he gave the music box as well, because he knew under speculation that his daughter. But again, if he knew that and he knew his daughter was there trapped within this fucking restaurant, surely he would be doing more than sat in his caravan welling on the situation for the past 30 years.
Just sat there watching reruns of Baywatch.
Exactly. You know, like it's like, it just didn't make sense to me. You know, it didn't make sense to me because he gave the music box knowing it would trap her into a sleep again. But like, if he has this much knowledge on the lore and the creation of these characters and these robots, then surely he would be able to do more than just keep the spirit of his daughter trapped away in this building.
Yeah, and I think the game logic that they imply into this movie doesn't work. So, for example, like the music box, take this music box to there, it will do this. And like later on where it's like, right, I need to stay here and do the code so I can lock them back down. You need to go here. It's very much side quests that you'd get in a game. If you were playing a video game, it would be this music box will trap her. You need to take this to this location and do this.
Yeah.
Oh, this computer, you need to make sure someone is here and you need to keep them safe while they crack the code. It's like, that's almost like a sequence you'd get where a character's playing on a code and you'd be fighting baddies away to give them time to crack it. It's got that real video game, and it doesn't work in a movie.
No. And to a certain degree, I appreciate them leaning in a little bit more towards the game side of things. You know, like you said, this didn't necessarily work. However, I do appreciate the fact that they tried more to incorporate that kind of stuff to the movie side of it, you know, because a lot of times when people adapt video games, they tend to forget that and just make a movie based on the story. And although this didn't work, there was some of the stuff that did, like I mentioned in the beginning, the stuff with Hutchinson's character behind the desk. I thought that was really cool, you know, and he pulled the mask up, you know, that's the kind of thing you would pull out of your inventory, the pause menu or something to do it, you know, a cutscene like you do in Resident Evil games. You're like, shit, I need to change guns. So you pause to buy yourself a bit more time while you go through your equipment and stuff and swap something out. So I kind of like that side of it. But
Yeah, and
this bit you're mentioning now doesn't work. No,
the mask I thought was great as well, because in the games, like when you use that mask against Foxy, it doesn't work, and it didn't work in the movie. And like when when it was Foxy and he pulled the mask up, I sat there and went, if this works, I'm going to be fucking fuming. Like if he stops him now, I'm going to be so annoyed. But he didn't. So yeah, they've taken a lot from it and done it well, but they've taken just the mechanics of a video game and tried to apply it to a movie. And I think that's where it doesn't work for me. Also, what is the fucking whole side quest with the Faz Fest? Like, what is that all about? Faz Fest and this whole like science fair shit. Like that's a full side quest that's not involved in the movie at all.
No, and again, I think the science fair thing was written in more to give the little sister character more to do in this movie, other than just dwell on the fact that some robots had died in the first film. I love the fact that we had the dude from Jurassic Park as our science teacher. That was fucking awesome. He was great. I haven't seen him in like decades, so to see him on screen was awesome.
I've written some bullet points for this, and my bullet point went, "Holy shit, Dennis Nedry survived Jurassic Park."
Yeah, he was great to see him, and I thought he did brilliant. He was really good in what he was doing in that role. He was an absolute knobhead throughout the film, but his comeuppance was great, and his death was actually quite brutal. He gets his head crushed, and it's probably one of the most goriest deaths we see, even though again it's cut away, but it cuts away in the right time where you still get the build up and the pressure towards it, and then cut screen to his legs dangling, so you don't see the blood splatting out, but you get the blood spraying on the floor around him. And I was like, if you are ever going to cut away from a death scene, that's how you do it, you know. Where there's other ones in the movie, like the people keep falling in this fucking stupid river thing, man, and that shit is 2 foot deep. Why the hell they do not just immediately climb out the side of it blows my mind every time.
It's when they can't get out, and it happened early in the movie. I'm like, just climb out, and then
just climb out.
It happens again later. I'm like, what are we doing? Like, did no one get taught how to swim and like put your hands on the side and like just lift your body weight out of this pool?
I know it was wild, but the thing is, the first guy who does it was part of Grace McKenna's little squad. He falls in, and instead of just like getting out of the side of this very shallow pool, he decides to walk the length of the river. And I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Just get out and walk. You know, it was so strange.
Like that still water that's been there since the 1980s. Like, what diseases and chemicals? Like, get out. Like, if it was me or you, I'd have fallen in. I'd have gone, for fuck's sake. I'd have hooked myself out. I'd have gone, right, I'm going out to the van. I'm going to get a change of clothes. I'll be back in a minute.
Yeah. It's very simple. It just infuriated me. I was like, this is fucking ridiculous. Nobody would do this. This water is not that deep. He is very clearly walking. He is waist high, and the side is right next to him there. He could literally lean against it and roll out if he wanted to.
Yeah. The science fair is the dumbest thing ever. Like the build up to the science fair where Dennis Nedry doesn't want Abby to take part, and he's an asshole, and then she turns up with
she rocks up like Elon Musk.
Yeah, with the little animatronic. Like,
no, sorry, later on when she comes in with.
Yeah, so she comes up with the little animatronic, and he's like, "Oh, okay, we'll let you enter." And he drops it and goes, "Oops!" And I'm like, "Fucking brilliant,
brutal,
bastard, absolute bastard." But then when she comes back in with Chica, like, there's a panel of judges there, and you've got Faz Fest going on down the road, which is a celebration of Freddy Fazbear's, one of the biggest characters being Chica. At no point did any of the judges go, do you know what? That looks very much like the animatronics that are in the pizzeria. Maybe you cheated.
I'm not being funny, but it's like doing Scrap Heap Challenge and rocking up with Optimus Prime. You know, it just made zero sense to me that no one was drawing attention to the fact that she's just come in with this AI marvel. You know, that clearly is way ahead of its time and does not exist in this time period anyway. And nobody's like, it's like, oh, that hasn't got an extension cord coming out the back of it. How is that moving? You know, batteries weren't this good in the 80s.
Well, I grew up in the 80s, and I remember getting given the first device. The first thing I ever had that didn't have to be plugged in was an original Game Boy. And I remember being like, my mind was blown that I could take something and I could move from room to room. The same as when we got cordless phones. Like when I first got a cordless phone, I was like, so I don't need to stand by the phone. But no, you could go anywhere. I could get anywhere. I could go over here, walking around the house going, this is amazing. They can still hear me. That is so like, and you've got a full walking, talking robot, and not one person went, how the fuck does that work?
Exactly. You know, and again, back to the Game Boy thing. I had a Game Boy, you know. You was lucky if you could do a 45-minute car journey without having to change batteries.
Yeah.
And this thing has managed to walk from one side of town to the other. I don't even know if you've got a battery that would be able to power that shit nowadays.
No, I just look at like RC cars and drones and stuff. You get like 15 minutes play out of a 27-hour charge.
Exactly. It was nuts. And again, movies be movie, and you know, and you've got to kind of give it a little bit of free pass here and there. But I think the issue I had with it was because there's so many other faults along the way. I was purposefully by this point just picking apart every single little flaw, because I'm like, well, that's shit. Well, that's stupid. That doesn't do that. And I just found myself repeatedly doing it because of how much of them there were throughout the first half of the movie.
Yeah, I think my biggest issues lie with the way they introduced the big bad. So the marionette. The marionette is a game character, it has game lore behind it. I'm not diving into any of that, but they introduced the marionette. It looks cool as shit. Like the present opens and it come out and it instantly gets McKenna Grace, which annoyed me straight away. I'm like, oh, what did you do that for? But then after that, it's this weird, like the little ghost girl with possessed eyes, and it just screamed Blumhouse trash. It screamed
CGI was shocking as well.
Yeah, it screamed The Conjuring. It screamed like, you know, when you see the really budget ghosts in Ghostbusters, the ones that look like people but they've got glowing eyes, like it looks like that, and it doesn't work. Like I don't.
No, it just looks like an Instagram filter. But like when Instagram filters first came about, like now they're like unrecognizable from reality, to be honest with you. But in here, it looked like the first ever Instagram filters. You know, where you used to have koala bear ears and shit. It was just that, but just like a blue luminous face with a couple of stripes down it, like Pennywise. And I was like, ah. But like the thing is, I didn't think it looked necessarily bad because of the way they used it. But there is those moments where it's on screen for way too long, and that's when you start pulling it apart. And you're like, you're overplaying your hand here now.
Yeah, and like the whole Mike and Vanessa storyline, what's going on with them? Like 1 minute they're going on a date and they're trying to work things out. Next thing, Mike hates her with an absolute passion. Then she hates Mike. Then they're friends again. Like, fuck it, sort yourselves out.
Yeah, and I mean, I kind of got it, but only because I had to build it myself. You know, I kind of got the lack of trust he has towards her and the fact that she's reminding him of the trauma he ensued. He's also blaming her because her father kidnapped and killed his brother, you know. So I get the animosity from his side, but he still really likes her and wants to be with her. She's dealing with all this childhood trauma shit, hence what we get in the dream sequence. So I get it, and I get what they were trying to achieve with it, and it makes perfect sense, but it's very poorly executed. It's only because I had to make those leaps in logic myself to get to the conclusion that made it make sense for me.
Yeah, and there's so much in this that it's a movie of moments. It's a movie of TikTok video length bites that they wanted to use to promote it. The prime example is Mangle, which is the white fox style character that looks like a transformer. When it comes out and attacks the car, and it's on the roof of the car, like smashing the window, like all of that serves no purpose whatsoever. It literally serves no purpose for the storyline of this movie, only to mean that she's broken down and she can't get where she needs to go.
Yeah. Isn't it Mike's friend who saves her by this point?
Yeah.
He's great. He's the only guy who has actual logical thinking in this movie. I wish he'd have been around a lot more.
If he was in the first one, I don't think Mike would ever have been with Vanessa, because he's like,
no. She's got crazy eyes, man.
She's got crazy eyes. Like that.
She has got crazy eyes.
She has, and it's because she can't act as she's trying to read the auto cue.
But the thing is, that point where he picks her up and she's just being an absolute lunatic, and he's like, "Oh, take me to Mike's." I would not be taking her to Mike's, but he does anyway. And then she runs in like an absolute bunny boiling lunatic, and he just drives off. I'm like, dude, where are you going? She's going to murder your friend.
But she's not going to murder him. That's the logic he's using. She's going to kill. She's going to kill Mike. I'm going to give him a beautiful eulogy, but I'm fucked if I'm dying tonight. Possession of Abby. Again, it doesn't make any sense. Like this
No,
whole bit.
but it doesn't. But one thing I will say about this is I really disliked Abby's character this time around. I don't remember being massive on her in the first film, and I don't think her acting has improved much by the time we get to the second one. But I
No.
do think she did a fantastic job of being possessed. Like that, give her a time to shine and show what she was capable of doing, rather than just being this weird little inside herself girl. And I like that for her as an actress, that she got that moment. But again, her character throughout this entire film just annoyed me.
Yeah, she did me as well. She's got this very much like Peppa Pig attitude towards her older brother. It's like, fuck you, I'm going to do what I want. And anyone who's got kids and watch Peppa Pig understands she's the worst child in the world ever. But she's got that sort of attitude. And like, even when she's like, you can't go to Fazbear's, they're all dead. She's like, okay, then. And then like that night climbs out of her bedroom window and goes to the pizzeria. Like she's constantly just not doing what she should be doing. And then in the same breath being this depressed, miserable character, but then flip it to the day she sat on the school bus bragging to all her friends about how she's friends with the animatronics. Her character doesn't make any sense.
No, it's like she's got this whole vibrant personality when she's not around the main cast, which is just strange.
To be fair, if I wasn't near Vanessa and Mike, I'd probably be cheerier as well, because they are both dreadful in this movie.
Again, though, like his character and the person who's playing him, is like the main pulling power of this franchise at this point.
Yeah.
And he does nothing here.
No, and I don't even blame him for that. I think he's a great actor. I think he doesn't do anything because they don't give him anything to work with. The same as Matthew Lillard, same as Skeet Ulrich, same as McKenna Grace. You have got 5 powerhouse actors and actresses who've been in grade A top quality movies outside of the world of horror as well. And you're giving them nothing to work with. Like, what are we even doing here?
Exactly. And it's because they were unsure on how successful the first movie was going to be, and they needed to rush out a sequel a year later. So they fabricated this side quest to fulfill that. And it's very clearly rushed. It's very clearly rushed. This movie shouldn't exist. We should have waited a year or 2 years, and then they should have given us Five Nights at Freddy's 2, which had more of a continuation of the end of the first film, which is what everybody wanted.
Yeah, and like the ending of this is so anticlimactic. It's literally like, oh, the marionette stopped. They're asleep now in the box. We've killed all the bad animatronics. The good animatronic ghosts now have had to cross over, and in doing so, they've released Matthew Lillard's character that they've had held.
I really like this, sir. I do like the fact that they're like, right, we've got to go now. We're crossing over to the other side, if you will. And then he turns to Mike and he's like, Mike, we're moving on now, just to let you know we can't hold him any longer. And I knew where they were going with that. I was like, oh, fucking hell, yeah, awesome. And then I was like, maybe this is going to be the big ending. We're going to have this big finale thing. Because I didn't expect it to end where it ended. I thought, we've got another 20 minutes or so yet. Not realizing we'd already been wasting our time for 2 hours already. However, I was like, right, okay, he's going to come in now. He's going to wake up and we're going to have this big fucking showdown sort of thing. But no, it's just ended on the worst cliffhanger in the world. And even the cliffhanger that we wanted is in the post-credit thing.
Yeah. Yeah, like all of it is just like the post-credit was cool though. I did like
it. Was very cool, yeah, and it gave me what I wanted, which was Matthew Lillard's character finally coming back. But the ending with Vanessa, she's now possessed by the marionette, and then it's like you see her at the front door and you see she's possessed, and then it's just credits, and you're like, what the fuck was that?
See, as someone who played the games, Vanessa is a character that in the games, and she plays a character called Vanny, who is effectively in a suit like the Yellow Rabbit. And she is ruthless in the games. She is ruthless as fuck. You want to go nowhere near Vanny ever. If you see her, you run like fuck. So when they done that, I was like, yes, Vanny, the Yellow Rabbit, the marionette, Skeet Ulrich, Matthew Lillard, like everything you've just given me there. If you'd have given me all of that in the trailer to this movie and gave me that movie, I'd have been so much happier. They've teed it up to be something great, but yeah, just what is this film?
That's what I mean. It's just a waste of time, in my opinion. There were highlights throughout that I kind of enjoyed glimpses of, and I kind of appreciated the direction that they tried to push some of the more game-heavy inclusion. However, it just felt wasted. By the time I got to the end, I was just like, right, so can we get to the movie we want now?
Yeah, and that's kind of where I am with it as well. This film was okay. As a fan of the game, there's a lot more that I can take from it than you would.
Yeah.
Um, I don't have an issue with them redoing the lore for the movies over the game either. I have issues with adding the game logic, which I've spoken about. Overall, this film just has no purpose other than to set up the stage for the next one with Vanessa as Vanny, with William Afton's full return, and then a role for Skeet Ulrich. Like, it does nothing. The first film was so much better than this. The same as this and the first film both would have benefited from having an 18 rating and some gore. I paid for this at the cinema. I paid for it to rewatch it on streaming. And if I'm honest, wait till it's free. This isn't very good at all. I'm going to amend my score and drop it down to a 1.5 out of 5.
Yeah, I'm going to cut straight to the chase and say I'm not amending my score. It's definitely a 1 out of 5. The conversations we've had regarding it haven't changed anything for me. If anything, it's just led to more confusion with some of the lore you've introduced me to. Has just made me feel like, well, that is just even more infuriating that they wasted the opportunity with these characters. They must have a lot of faith in this franchise to drip feed this stuff so smallly throughout this movie for us to be like, yes, Five Nights at Freddy's 3. At this point, if I was a diehard fan of the games and stuff, and this was a product that they'd given me and I'd paid for it multiple times like you had, I would be so pissed off. I would be like, what is wrong with you guys? You clearly milking the cash cow now at our expense, you know?
Yeah.
And it's disappointing, you know, because like I'm not a fan. I have no connections to it, but they did do enough in the first movie to somewhat hook me into the idea that they're presenting. And I was like, right, this is okay. The first one was a bit ropey, but as always is the case of set things up now so we can get straight into it. But they didn't. They just set us up on a new story and a new side quest, and it did nothing but get us back to the point where we were at the end of the first film.
Yeah, exactly, in exactly the same place. Like,
exactly the same place. Like there is, if we get a third film and it picks up at the end of this movie, you could quite easily watch Five Nights at Freddy's 1, Five Nights at Freddy's 3. You could watch Five Nights at Freddy's 2, Five Nights at Freddy's 3, and exclude one or the other, you know, and pick which path you wanted to choose to go down with it. The acting hasn't improved from the people that I had issues with in the first movie, Vanessa and the young sister. Hutchinson was great, but again, he was wasted. Skeet and Lillard, what a disappointing waste of time it was advertising these two as being back together for the first time in 3 decades, for that to do absolutely nothing. Yeah, it's just an all-around disappointment, really. And to be honest with you, I was quite excited to watch this for the show. But by the end of it, I was just fucked off, man. I was just pissed off, and I was just glad it was over. So yeah, my score hasn't changed. Hopefully, in 6 months' time, when we get Five Nights at Freddy's 3 churned out, we can revisit this conversation and see if it does pan out how we expect it to, with pick and choosing the routes you can go down with it. But yeah, it's a waste of time. If you're not a massive Five Nights at Freddy's fans, there's nothing here for you. I wouldn't say go out and see this movie. Even if you're streaming and it's there for free, I can guarantee you there's 1,000,001 other movies that are better to watch than this. So if you're like me and have no attachment to the games, just skip it, man. It's not worth your time.
Yeah, I kind of agree. Now we've teased a new game, a new quiz, but that's not happening this week. Quizzes will be back. No, I'm lying. It's happening right now.
What I earn in one hand, burning from the other. Every right answer rips another from my cover. I keep winning pieces I can't keep together. Bleed for the scoreboard, lose myself forever. Meltdown!
Our new quiz for 2026 is called Meltdown. It is very similar to the quizzes that we've done in the past. However, it is going to be the most frustrating, the most infuriating, the most anger-fueled quiz we've ever done. So there is going to be 10 questions. They're all horror-themed questions, general knowledge. They range in difficulty. Everyone you get correct, you get 10 points. You're going to play every single question. Every question you get wrong, you lose 15 points.
Oh, fucking hell. That's brutal, man.
There is a possibility that you could have a scoreboard with minus scores on it.
And I'm the first one to guinea pig it. I feel out of place as well because we're recording this on a school night, so I have no beer or anything. I don't know whether this is going to sharpen my wits or not.
Well, I'm working on the theory that we're not drinking, therefore you should be like fucking on it.
I don't know. I feel like alcohol is my superpower.
However, if you remember when we were going to do Broken Spirit and Dave gave you Broken Spirit, he wanted it to be the hardest Broken Spirit ever. And he provided 2 questions for that quiz that you never got asked. So I'm going to use those. They're going to be the first 2. They're probably going to put you on minus 30 points. But from there on out, it is a bit easier. And I'll give him his due. He's given you questions that are based around franchises that you adore.
Right. So there's going to be a Halloween question and a Deep Blue Sea question.
It's almost like you can see the quiz.
Fuck's sake. Right.
So
okay. Couldn't we have started this in a couple of weeks' time?
We could have done, but we have a guest in a couple of weeks' time and they need to do it too. And I want them to have heard it before they get thrown in at the deep end.
Right. Okay. Let's do it. Let's do it. Well, it doesn't matter. I always start off on the rocky foot. I'll set the benchmark so people can either try and beat it or at least know that they're going home with a solid score regardless.
Question number 1. Again, I'm not taking credit for this. Dave B Movies, all the credit goes there. Where else in the Halloween franchise can the song Laurie Strode sings in the original of 1978 be heard? There's one other place in the franchise that song plays.
Right. I can't for the life of me remember what song it is. Are you allowed to tell me the song?
No, because I don't know it.
Right. Okay. I'm thinking it's when she's walking when the shape's hid behind the bush. Is she singing at that point? So I have a theory. And this is how my theory goes. There's 3 possible answers to this. 1, it's used in Halloween 3 as a callback.
Okay.
But not the actual song playing, which is something that I feel they may have done in like the bar scene or something like that. Theory 2 is that Jamie Lloyd singing it at some point in Halloween 4, but I can't also place that either. And then my final one would be Halloween 2018, just purely based on callbacks. Okay. I'm leaning more towards Halloween 3 just because of the era. And if she sang that song in the first one, they would then bring that in at some point in that movie as an actual song to the film. I'm purely speculating and I'm purely guessing, and I'm going to go with Halloween 3.
Okay. Before you answer, I'm going to tell you one of those answers, one of those films is correct.
And is what? Yeah. Do you know the context of the answer? Is my theory correct?
You're pretty much spot on with one of the films. That's all I'm going to give you. One of your 3 theories, that film checks out.
And again, Dave giving the question also makes me think that my favorite Halloween movie would be the answer. So do I go Halloween 4 just because he's that cruel?
I'm waiting.
No, I'm gonna stick to my guns. I'm gonna go Halloween 3 Season of the Witch.
That is incorrect. You are now on minus 15 points. It was 2018 where the father and the son see the bus crash.
I should have. That was my initial thought as well, and then I just overthought the fucking question.
You did.
I overthought it. I think my logic of getting to where I got deserves me some credibility anyway.
I agree, and I think when we go through, I think you're going to start reaping points back quite quickly after this second question from Dave B Movies. Again, I take no credit for this. In Deep Blue Sea, the plane used at the beginning of the film was also used on a prop for what other movie?
A prop.
Yeah.
So the plane is used, or just part of the plane as a prop?
It was used as a prop, and they fly it in the other movie too.
Right. I've only got one answer in mind, and it's Jaws: The Revenge, and it's the plane that Michael Caine's flying. I don't know the answer to that, but I'm going to guess that.
It's an excellent guess, but it's incorrect. It was in 6 Days and 7 Nights.
I would never have got that because I've never seen that movie. I
No,
think
so
is that the Han Solo movie with?
I've never seen it either. Dave's revealing more about his movie taste than he realizes here.
I'm pretty sure it's I'm pretty sure it's Indiana Jones washing up on a beach with some blonde woman for 6 days and 6 nights. I could be wrong.
You're on minus 30 points. Time to start trying to claw some of that back because you can't
Cheers,
have a
Dave.
minus.
Thanks for that.
Question number 3. What horror film stars Matthew Lillard as a crazy ghost hunter?
13 Ghosts.
That's correct. You're now on minus 20 points. Question number 4. Who directed the 2025 film Sinners?
Oh, not Kreger. Ryan. Oh, what's his name?
That's the question.
I know that. I'm gonna say Coogler. I don't even know if that's right. Ryan Coogler, is that correct?
That is correct. You're now on minus 10 points. Question number 5. Which of these films is not a video game adaptation? Resident Evil, Until Dawn, Silent Hill, or House of Eden?
House of Eden.
That's correct. You're now on 0 points.
Yay! Halfway through the quiz.
Who wrote the book The Long Walk?
Stephen King.
That's correct. 10 points. What actor plays Danny Torrance in the film Doctor Sleep? There are 2 possible answers here. I'll take either one.
Ewan McGregor. I don't know what the second one could be. I don't know who plays young Danny Torrance in that.
That's correct. Young Danny Torrance is played by Roger Dale Floyd. So you're now on 20 points. 3 questions to go. So you've got the potential to be on 50. Question number 8. What British actor leads the cast of the 2024 film Getaway?
Repeat the question for me again, please. I don't think I've seen The Getaway.
Which British actor leads the cast of the 2024 film Getaway?
British actor?
Yes.
Right, that's not the movie I was thinking of then. The Getaway. Is that a horror film?
It is. Very good horror film too. Got an excellent twist.
The Getaway. I just do not know. I do not know that movie. Let me think. Actor or actress?
Actor.
Actor. The Getaway. The Getaway. How am I not even familiar with that movie? Like, surely I would have seen that come up on my radar at some point. Did it do well? Was it popular? Did people talk about it?
I talk about it a lot. I've reviewed it twice, 2 separate times on Patreon and YouTube.
Shit, I'm subscribed to both of that. Oh, fuck. I don't know. I genuinely don't know. And we've never even had a conversation about it either for me to think, oh, that's that movie that Scott keeps harping on about.
No, throw a punt out there.
British actor.
Yeah.
Popular actor, like famous popular or just British?
He is in the world of horror. He is a famous British actor.
Right. And he was a lead.
He was the lead.
World of horror, famous British actor. Nicholas Hoult?
That is incorrect. You're now on 5 points. It was Nick Frost.
Oh, I do know that movie. It's got the Irish woman in it as well.
Yeah, really, really good film.
I heard that wasn't that good.
I loved it. The twist at the end of that movie, I was like, this is fucking awesome. Right, so you're on 5 points, 2 questions to go. In the 2025 film, what 2025 film follows the haunting of an old country house from the perspective of a dog?
Good Boy. Is it Good Boy?
It is, that's correct. So you're now on 15 points.
Have you seen that?
Yes.
Good.
I
No.
enjoyed it.
Nah, it's not good, is it? You can say it's not good. Just because the lead's a dog. I feel like you were hesitant to say it was good then.
It does lots of things right. It does a lot of things wrong. The dog is the best fucking actor in the world ever. That
Right.
dog shows so like there's a point in that movie I googled to see if they'd use CGI because there's a point where I swear to fucking God the dog smiles and like tilts its head at the camera. It's fucking amazing. The dog in that film is exceptional.
I can't believe this. Where are we now? I've got 15 points.
15 points, and you are now on the final question.
So if I get this wrong, even though I've got half of these right, I'm going away with nothing. I've got more than half of them right anyway, and I'm still going away with nothing.
We'll top the leaderboard with a grand total of 0.
Brilliant. I love this quiz.
Right, question number 10. How many actors have played the character Eric Draven from The Crow?
Right. So you've got Brandon Lee. You've then got the dude from Terminator. How many movies of that franchise do I?
No, not the. How many have played the specific character Eric Draven? Bear in mind some of the sequels.
Oh,
they have
shit.
different characters. Yeah.
Right. I don't think he's Eric Draven in any of the sequels. Then I think there's only. Is he Eric Draven in the remake? He is Eric Draven in the remake, isn't he? I know you can't tell me that now. I'm speaking out loud. I'm sure he's Eric Draven in the remake. Oh, is he though? Oh, that's really fucking got me now. He's called Eric, isn't he? He's called Eric in that movie. Is he though? Shit. I really liked that movie as well. I thought everyone was extremely harsh on it.
So do I. I thought everyone was incredibly mean about that movie.
I think he is. I think the other movies. So you've got City of Angels, you've got Salvation, and then they did a TV show as well. Are we excluding the TV show?
No.
Just movies.
No, we're not excluding the TV show.
Shit, that's the one thing I don't know is a TV show. Is that
so you think you've got 2? You think you've
I don't know if I have. I don't know if I have because I can't quite remember. I don't understand why they would not. I imagine the sequels did change it because they wouldn't want to tarnish that whole thing.
So you think the remake is, the original is, you think
I think the remake is, and I think the remake is, I know obviously the original, and I'm just questioning now the Stairway to Heaven mini series thing that they did. I think there was another TV series that came out maybe 10 years later. I might be wrong on that.
I think you are wrong on that.
Right. That's kind of just helped me. My answer is either 2 or 3 or 1.
If you could narrow
I definitely think the remake is. I'm possibly wrong, but I do think the remake is, and I can't imagine any other reason why they wouldn't. It's just a TV series that I'm unsure about. I'm very unfamiliar with. But again, the TV series was a lot later, and it was probably like they always do with TV series, where they do a backstory and a rebuilding. I can't imagine they would include the movies, because the movie sequels are sequels to the original, but I'm pretty sure the TV series wasn't a continuation of the movie franchise, and it was his own rebirth thing. So therefore, they could use the character of Eric based on the comics. I'm going to go with 3. I'm going to go with 3 and hope for the best.
That is correct. You finished this on 20 points. So top of the leaderboard for our brand new quiz, which is Meltdown, is Mark. He has 20 points. And yeah, that's what everyone.
That was tough. I like that quiz, though. I do like that. That's good, that, because the thing is as well, like, you get through all 10 and you're also playing against yourself in a way. I like that. That's a good game. Well done, sir.
Yeah, I was when I come up with it. I was at first I done it. It was like you'd lose 5 points. I'm like, nah, because that means people always do really well. And I'm like, what if I make it they lose more than they actually get? That's a great idea.
I want to play that again without Dave's input. I want a
Yeah,
fair shot at that later on in the year.
Yeah, I think you'll do better with that. Let's do some 3-word review. I'm going to be honest, it's non-existent this week. I'm guessing a lot of people haven't seen this film, and if they have, they haven't got a lot to say about it. Daniel BH 1993 went with Waste of Time. Chaz Presley, This Came Out, question mark. William Afton, I don't know if it's the real William Afton, but on TikTok, he said bigger, better experience. Lost Wastelander, also on TikTok, went with Poop, Poopy, Poopiest. And finally, randomly Eric, who hasn't been in touch for a while.
I wondered where he'd got to.
He went with a 4-word review, but I'm going to allow it because he put, oh no, it is 3. I just can't spell. Nobody saw this.
Nobody saw this. Brilliant. I mean, I don't know. You said it made a lot of money at the box office, so I'm assuming people did. But again, it's the movie that's aimed at younger audiences. People who probably listen to our show and circulate within our group are not necessarily the audience for this movie, I don't think.
No, I don't think they are either. We have a couple of voicemails, but I don't know which way around these are because I didn't label them. Again, if you're following us on Patreon and you're a Patreon member, you will have seen the videos where I've explained why this week is an absolute fucking calamity and why I was nearly homeless and single. Right, let's go with that one.
Hi, I'm back. All about Tom Hanks. I actually saw A Man Called Otto in the cinemas a few years back, and I've watched it a couple of times since, and I will concede in that Tom Hanks is absolutely fantastic.
Yes.
That was the second one. I've done them the wrong way around, but it works. This is the first one.
Hi, guys. So I'm just listening to John Carpenter's Vampires. Thank you very much for doing this. I've paused just before we get the answer to the Trevor's question, because I own 7. That was my immediate answer, and I'm wondering if I need to buy any more. I'm perfectly happy that Scott did the quiz and bombed out early. That's what I wanted Marc to do. But Scott, I did send you 2 specific questions geared toward Marc just to make him look stupid. So at some point, could you please ask him those anyway? Cheers.
I don't think I made myself look stupid with my response to those questions. I may have got them wrong, but I got there.
You did. Also, we're going to do VHS Hunt, our new feature that we're doing every single week. And you complained that I didn't have a decent intro music for you.
Yeah.
I gave you a new feature and I'd put literally no effort into it. So this week I put some real effort into giving you an intro to the VHS Hunt. So would you like your new intro?
I would.
Okay, here we go.
Let's take a punt on the VHS hunt. I don't care what you say. Marc is not a...
Mate! I don't know if I'm flattered or not by that.
Well, you are not a something. Someone call in, fill in the blank. It's a new game.
So last week you mentioned to me that you think I would struggle massively to find some sort of connection to Five Nights at Freddy's throughout my VHS collection. Yeah. I actually had a plethora of things that I was going to pick this week. I felt like Child's Play would have been appropriate and would have worked.
Yeah.
Do you know, the whole puppet doll thing? I was also going to show off Terminator box set because I think the Terminator AI box set thing works. But instead, I've decided to go with something that I haven't seen many of, but we will work our way through them at some point on this show, I'm sure. And that is the Puppet Master Collection.
Oh, that works for me.
Yeah. So the reason I'm showcasing these this week is more just a plea for help than anything else. If there's any Australian listeners out there, I need your help. So basically, this is the complete PAL set of the Puppet Masters. For those of you who are eagle-eyed may notice that I have 1, 2, 3 and Curse, which is actually number 6, and Retro, which is number 7. There is an 8th one that is available on VHS, but it's like rocking our shit to get hold of. I will find it at some point. However, for 4 and 5 didn't get a rental release here in the UK. In fact, I don't even think it even got a retail release on VHS here in the UK, but I know that the Australians did get a copy of it in the Big Box X rental. I've seen a couple of these pop up on eBay and I'm trying to get hold of them, but the issue I have is to get those. The shipping from Australia is mental. And that means I have to pay the shipping twice because I've never seen them come up together as a bundle. So any Australian listeners out there who really want to help me out, if you can find on your local Facebook, Gumtrees, or whatever it is you use out there, pick up a copy of part 4 and 5 for me in Big Box X rental. Message me. I will pay for the cost of whatever you paid for the tapes and the shipping included, and it would really help me out. So that's this week's. It's Puppet Master. I feel it fits very well, and it's also a cry for help. So if you can help me out with these, drop me a message and get in touch, and I'll sort out the finer details with you.
Let's take a punt on the VHS hunt. I don't care what you say. Marc is not a...
I like that. I'm going to play you in and out with that every week now. I'm so
I believe you, man.
I'm so proud of myself. With that, it is sadly the end of the episode. You'll notice the runtime is a little bit less than normal, and that's because I cut down the ad bit in the middle. And I've done that purely this week because me and Marc are recording on a school night. It's been a calamity. I cannot tell you enough. Go to Patreon and follow the saga of how we ended up where we are today, recording the day before the episode comes out. I hope you've enjoyed the episode. Drop a comment on Spotify or on YouTube or wherever you're watching this. Also, go and follow me and Marc on Instagram. We are I am at You Run Podcast. Marc is at VHS from the Crypt, where you get to see loads more of his awesome VHS collection, and at Reviews from the Crypt, where you get to see long form reviews of movies that Marc hasn't covered on the show and some that he has. We're going to be back next week with a movie that is universally hated by everyone in the world, apart from me and Marc, who absolutely fucking love it. I
don't know what we're doing next week, to be honest with you, so I'm just laughing along like I know.
We are going to take you on a full-ass tour, guided tour, including shows of SeaWorld, as we bring you Jaws 3D. Honestly, it's the most excited I've been for an episode in such a long time. Like, I am pumped for Jaws 3.
I am. I haven't watched it in some time. I started watching it the other night. I was about maybe half an hour in, and I was enjoying every fucking moment of it. And then we got to the details that we wouldn't be covering it this week, and I didn't want to have to sit on it for an entire week before we recorded. So I paused it, stopped it, and I'll go back and restart it again this week in preparation for recording. I know I love this movie for all the wrong reasons, and I know you do too. So it's going to be a great episode next week, I'm sure.
And also, if you can get hold of some of the 3D glasses, like the red and blue ones, please do it.
I had a pair, but I didn't have the tape. Back to the VHS thing. I got a big bundle once, and they were in it. And I messaged Gareth because I was in the hunt because I had Freddy's Dead. I didn't have the 3D glasses that came with Freddy's Dead. And Gareth's had a spare pair. And he said, I'll trade you for the Jaws 3D ones. So I sent them to Gareth, and he sent me the Freddy's Dead ones. So Gareth does actually own a pair of the Jaws 3D glasses.
Oh, that's awesome. That's really awesome. So tune in next Tuesday for that. And it's going to be a great episode. And until then, have a wonderful week.
See you next week, guys.
See you next Tuesday.
You want to die tonight?
You're on podcast. You're on podcast.
Late at night, I tune into your show where you talk horror with a unique flow. Your voice is like sirens, draws me in as you pick apart movies on murder and sin. Scott and Marc set the scene. I hang on every word, lost in the screen. Your passion for fear is contagious enough. You make me believe in Marc's fucking long round ups.
You run podcasts, horror movie reviews, sharing facts and playing games too. Your words paint pictures of darkness and dread, leaving me grinning long after you fled. You run podcasts.
Let me clean up the mess that you created.